In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys an update on Hurricane Fiona as well as that upcoming cooldown, among other things that are going to be happening within this upcoming pattern. Let's just get straight into things though, and first things first, we're taking a look here at our current radar imagery. As you can see, there's plenty going on here, especially in the west where we have a major storm system located there just off the coast of California. We have some storminess up to the north, even some severe thunderstorm warnings coming in for North Dakota there in a pretty potent thunderstorm that has been rolling through for multiple hours this morning so far. We can see that for the Ohio Valley into the northeast, we do have a storm system impacting these regions as well, bringing pockets of moderate to heavy precipitation with it. Definitely worth noting there. And then we can see offshore of the southeast into the Gulf states, we definitely have these areas of activity as well taking place. So multiple different spots seeing activity. Let's just zoom into these different areas, and real quick, we'll take a look at the west first off. We can tell that that low is somewhere here off of northern California, and this is leading towards this precipitation to head in about this direction. Up the coast, even we can see some bands here for the San Francisco Bay Area, so we're seeing a lot of this move around and bring multiple different impacts to these regions here in California, and even southern Oregon there as well, seeing some of this activity. No surprise, obviously they're right next to each other. As we move up into the north central regions of the United States for Montana, North Dakota, as well as a bit of Minnesota, we can see a bit of this storminess taking place in here. And we can tell that thunderstorm down there near Bismarck was very, very potent. We'll zoom in here, but we see lots of purple showing up with this pocket of thunderstorms that rolled straight through Bismarck and the rest of the I-94 corridor. So let us know if you're around that region what that was like, but that looks like a very hefty thunderstorm there that you guys were seeing around and south of the I-94 region there in North Dakota. Very, very intense weather going on up there, it appears. Now, for the Gulf states in the southeast, we can just see this activity, very, very typical for this time of year. Isolated thunderstorm activity moving onshore to Texas and also possibly onshore to the Carolinas and down through Florida as well. We're seeing quite a bit of activity with all of these different things. As we move up here, we can see that this pocket in here as well is pretty impactful. We see heavier showers, thunderstorms, and all sorts of stuff going on for the Ohio Valley, the Northeast. All of these different regions are seeing multiple different impacts. Very, very interesting stuff and definitely worth noting. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the model guidance, not only for the upcoming storminess, but also the upcoming temperature pattern, and we're going to take a pretty extensive look into Hurricane Fiona, which is definitely expected to become a major hurricane within the coming days. All right, now here we are taking a look at that upcoming storminess. We're just going to move towards this afternoon, and we can see this storm will still be bringing impacts to the western United States. The northeast and Ohio Valley is going to start to see more and more and more impacts here for these regions. And then the southeast is still having some of this isolated occurrencing activity in there. We can see by the time we reach Tuesday, September 20th here, we have Hurricane Fiona moving northward, north of even the Bahamas and the Caribbean in general. We see around the Rockies and just east of the Rockies, we see plenty of activity in there. And we still have this storm system near California bringing some impacts for these regions and something going on there for the Northeast as well. Multiple different areas seeing some storminess by this point. By the time we take a look at Wednesday, September 21st, this is when things will start to get more interesting here. We have this cold front stretching underneath just like this, bringing storminess along that entire cold front here in this corridor. So this is a more active cold front like I've been mentioning before. This isn't one of those ones that just changes the temperatures and you just feel the temperature slightly shift. This is going to be one of those ones that brings hefty storminess along that cold front and then brings drastic temperature changes. Out ahead of it, we'll have record highs. Record highs. And then behind it, we will have very far below normal low temperatures. And by the time we reach Thursday, we can see this cold front. Well, first off, we see the low up here. But then the cold front is stretching down just like this. So all the cold is going to be back here behind that cold front, and the heat is going to be moving along this cold front, trying to race northward through there. We see that happen oftentimes in the springtime, sometimes in the fall time as well, as you can see. By the time we're reaching Saturday, the cold front will have moved through, and we'll be left with really, really cold temperatures compared to normal here in the eastern United States, and a much quieter pattern overall. I mean, we stay pretty quiet. We do get some storminess here early that next week, which will be Monday, September 26th here. I can see right now that this is going to be a little bit colder and definitely stormy here in this pattern. Definitely a bit of a cold front moving through. We have this low here and stretching cold front here. So we'll take a look at the temperature anomalies in a little while. That low eventually lifts off up into here, but we stay cold for a lot of the eastern United States. So expect pretty cold temperatures once we take a look at the temperature pattern here in a minute. Total precipitation through the next 10 days. Here, if you're anywhere in the whites, we'll be taking a look at practically no precipitation. Your grays will be 1/10 of an inch or less of precipitation. Your greens will be 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Your blues will be 1/2 inch to an inch. Your yellows will be 1 inch to 2 inches. Your reds will be 2 to 5 inches. And then your browns will be 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. We have a lot going on there for the plains and the northeast, but very quiet outside of those regions, I would say. Total snowfall in here, we see dusting, if anything, in those gray areas a lot there for the Rockies and the Sierra Nevadas there as well. Once we take a look at blues, we see 2 to 6 inches of snowfall expected in these regions, some there for Wyoming and then some there for California as far as the United States is concerned, and maybe even some purples for both of those regions, which would be about 6 to 10 inches of snowfall. So we're starting to get a little bit more here, and I expect over the next 2 weeks we will actually start to really increase on this, so keep that in mind. Now here we are taking a look at the upcoming temperature pattern. I could not get the European model to work here on the temperature pattern for some reason, but it does have that big cool down that we've seen for days on our European model. We also see here on the GFS model, so it's going to get about the same point across. So we'll just take a look at this, but record heat out ahead of the cold front. We can see the dark reds, the grays here, so that is that record heat where we're seeing 10 to even 25 degrees above normal temperatures. But right behind it is this cool air. We see our low is probably about right here, and that cold front is stretching down just like this. And it's going to push through really violently. This is Thursday afternoon time frame, and the cold front will be located about like this. We see record heat again underneath, and possibly even some record lows behind it. So very, very violent cool down. Friday, the 23rd here, we're going to be talking about deep cold temperatures here. Keep that in mind. Definitely some very, very far below normal temperatures for a lot of these green regions. And that sticks around through Saturday here a little bit, and then Sunday, we see neutral temperatures, but by Monday afternoon, we see another cold front moving through. So early that week after it, we have another cold front moving through, bringing it below normal temperatures here. And those stick around. This is Tuesday, the 27th, and this is Wednesday, the 28th, Thursday, the 29th, looking a little bit warmer there, bringing colder lows, but the high temperatures do get to above normal, or at least near normal. And then we see the warmth mostly head towards the east in the longer range here on the GFS model. Take it with a grain of salt as it is pretty far range, but it does bring a negative PNA out west, bringing below normal temperatures to the west and above normal temperatures to the east as we get very, very close to October and even into early October. So after these two cool downs later this week and the beginning and even through probably most of next week, we do see warm air return to the eastern United States here on this GFS model. So that is the look as of now. Now let's take a look at an update of Hurricane Fiona's cone forecast. Here we are taking a look at it, and as you can see, Hurricane Fiona has brought many impacts to Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, including yesterday knocking out the entire power grid system in Puerto Rico. Every single person was without power, at least, if they didn't have a generator or anything, but the power was out for Puerto Rico basically, which is just incredible. Obviously this is a weaker hurricane for those regions. They're used to seeing major hurricanes at times, so it's very interesting that this hurricane is the one that knocked out the power and brought that many crazy impacts. It just goes to show that you can't underestimate anything, and really anything is possible, so that's why we take everything seriously here at Direct Weather, very, very seriously. Now, as we can see, as this moves northward, it's going to bring hurricane impacts to Dominican Republic, where it's over right now. And we're also going to see this bring hurricane impacts to some of the Bahamas before it becomes a major hurricane, possibly scraping very close to Bermuda as a major hurricane. That's at least Category 3 or above. And then it's going to weaken down to a hurricane, so a Category 2 or Category 1 there by 2 a.m. on Saturday, very close to the coast of Canada. Now, that's all the updates we have for now. Be sure to subscribe to Tune In Daily as we bring new information every single day to you guys. Also, be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it and leave a comment down below with your thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next video.